Hello, magic makers. Welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary podcast. One of the very first archetypes that I worked with when I was very young, I was probably in my preteens and early teens, was Xena Warrior Princess. I am a person who does not put themselves forward. I have anxiety disorder. I have been described for much of my life as either shy or backward because I'm very introverted in an extroverted world. But Xena provided an energy for me to channel and work with and sort of sink myself into that allowed me to tap into my own power during a time when I did not know what the hell my body and mind were doing because they were changing so rapidly. We were changing locations for our living situation. It's a lot of upheaval in my life at that time. And the thing that I loved the most about Xena is no matter what was kind of thrown at her, she made it through. She looked at the situation and she went, I'm going to handle this. And she found a way to handle it.
Yeah.
I was in my preteens and there was this beautiful warrior woman wearing a leather bikini on the screen. I'm also a lesbian. Let's just connect the dots there and move on.
I definitely worked with the Xena energy as well, but for a different reason. I liked how she was interacting with Aries. Like she had her own commanding presence. Even though he would get angry at her attempt to manipulate her, control her, she put him back in his place. So I worked with her in that way, coming into your own power, coming into your own self, and approaching it as a social. This is a extroverted world. It's mostly ruled by men. I didn't have, and I still don't have that many feminine energy for that matter in my everyday life. I have more male cousins and more uncles. For friends, I have plenty of girlfriends now, but when I was growing up, I mostly had guy friends. So having Xena as a super feminine warrior energy, putting that masculine energy back in its place was very helpful for me to be able to say, okay, well, you know what? This is my boundary. You stepped into it. Now you need to step out.
Yep.
I also learned how to do her alala yell.
Yes.
Yeah. That was something that was fun for me.
It's so freeing.
Yeah.
Young women really just gravitated toward it because of those themes that you were talking about. She stood up to male energy all the time. She owned her sexuality. She owned her own power. The whole show was about her redemption arc from doing terrible things into finding a way to be a good person again.
Yeah. Another fandom archetype that I have always worked with since I was a child, to the point where my mother's nickname for me as a child was her little Morticia, was the Addams family. And Morticia Addams in particular. I love Wednesday, don't get me wrong. I think Wednesday is an amazing character. I would work with her if and when necessary. But Morticia archetypal energy, being the matriarch of a family who is supportive of everyone in it to do their best and be their best, however their best looks like, whether it was from the 60s sitcom or the 90s movies, has always resonated with me in the way that I think Xena resonated with you.
Yeah.
This is a woman who I wanted to be like, and still do, to some way, shape, or form, be like Morticia Addams. The way she approaches life and the way she approaches her children and her hobbies and her husband and her family members has always been something that I've wanted to somehow work with and have been working with since I was a little witchling, even though I didn't know I was a witch.
Yes. I think that's one of the best parts about exploring pop pantheons is that you can look back and go, I have absolutely always practiced magic in one way or another.
Yes, this particular pantheon archetype with Morticia Addams is very near and dear to my heart. To the point where even some of my non-pop pantheon deities have taken on a form of Morticia just to be able to communicate with me throughout my life. She's a gateway for me. So there's like two different archetypal energies are coming to meet and intersect at Morticia Addams. It's the Morticia Addams character archetypal energy and the gateway energy of entering into magic, paganism, as well as, Shannonland. Shannonlandia is the first gate, Morticia Addams.
Yep. That's how you get in there. I love Morticia, but I am definitely more of a Wednesday Addams fan. I've worked with this energy for a very long time too, and the way that Wednesday unabashedly embraces exactly who she is and flatly refuses to change for anyone is something I still aspire to. I'm a 35-year-old woman and I still aspire to the chutzpah and determination that this little girl had, especially in the second Addams Family film with Christina Ricci, where she's at camp and gets her revenge at the end. She will not be tamed.
I love Wednesday. I think I love Wednesday, though, because she had Morticia as a mother. I fully support Addams' energy as a Addams worker. Please let your Wednesday Addams out. I will be a proud mama and support you in your endeavors.
And you have. Oh, man.
That's how we roll.
So we'd like to take a little section to talk about how we work with a lot of these things, or ways in which you could work with them if you decide that this is something you want to try. One of the ways that you can use Pop Pantheon energy in your workings is using something like the Hogwarts houses when you're calling the corners. If you create a circle when you do magic, you can call on the energy of the Hogwarts houses, or you can call on the elements from Last Airbender as they're presented in the show and call on the creatures that rule each element, which would be the dragons for fire, the moon for water, badger moles for earth, and for air would be the sky bison. You can channel Uncle Iroh as a spirit guide when you desperately need comfort. He's the literal old man archetype. He's everybody's uncle, and he's wise and gentle and kind. So you could sit down and have a cup of tea with him and channel that energy and just ask for some compassionate help and advice when you really need someone. The Magicians is absolutely, hands down, one of my favorite fandoms. It was short-lived, but it made a huge impact on me. And anyone who's seen The Magicians knows that the way that they channel magic is with the hand-tutting movements. They use their hands to make specific movements and specific symbols to move energy and make spells. And I've started doing this in my own way in my magic, and it's an amazing way to connect with the energy. I can feel my hands get warm. I can feel the resistance around them as though the air is becoming more solid when I'm using this. So it's really working for me. With these archetypes, I feel like recognizing yourself in these pop pantheons is one of those ways in which you can really study who you are as a person and how magic can work for you. In The Magicians, Quentin Coldwater, he is me. I started watching The Magicians and I actually was brought to tears a couple of different times by things that he said or things that he did or relationships that he created that I felt were deeply reflected in my own life. And he's this awkward, nerdy, shy, unassuming grad student with this long, crazy hair that goes in front of his face. I was like, if I was a cisgender male, I would be Quentin Coldwater. And the thing about him is I loved all of his quirks and I love all of his nerdiness and his strangeness, but he was also the hero of his own life. He was the protagonist of his own life. in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk with Quentin Coldwater energy out into the world almost every single day. I take this archetype energy with me and I ask myself, what would Quentin do? And sometimes he wouldn't do the right thing, but that's okay. When I need to tap into my own magic and I've sort of lost my path, I turn to Quentin because he did that quite often in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he got to do everything that he set out to do. He accomplished every single one of his goals. The path to get there was circuitous, but I also hold him up as an example to myself of how you just need to keep walking. You just need to keep walking your path.
So working with archetypal energy is allowing yourself to become the hero of your own story, even if you're working with an energy that is perceived by pop culture to be more villainous or nefarious than the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it is the Marvel Cinematic Universe Loki archetype that you're working with, or if you're working with Disney archetypal energies, or if you're working with the magicians, and Quentin Coldwater is your way in to understanding how to walk hero's journey throughout your life and through everyday incidences. Stepping out your front door can be a reason why you pull archetypal energy from your particular fandom.
Mm-hmm.
The way you work with Quentin, I will work with Carmen Sandiego when I'm traveling.
Oh, that's interesting.
I won't do it on an everyday basis because I don't travel on an everyday basis, not anymore. But where in the world is Carmen Sandiego and where in time is Carmen Sandiego, which are two games from the 2000s, early 2000s, as well as the new Netflix series of Carmen Sandiego. She travel around the world and get done what she feels needs to get done, whether or not society decides that this is the way to get it done.
Yeah.
And when I'm traveling, I'm sure this is super common with a lot of people, I get a lot of traveling anxiety.
Yeah.
But I don't let it stop me, just like I don't see Carmen Sandiego allowing her potential problems that lie in front of her, stopping her from solving her problems.
Yeah.
From getting from point A to point B. She's going to get to Rome however she gets to Rome, and it's not going to get in her way if the train happens to run late that day.
Mm-hmm.
She'll hop on a bus or a hot air balloon and find herself in Rome.
Yeah.
So I will definitely lead with Carmen Sandiego archetype whenever I'm setting out on a journey, whether it's going to vacation in a new space or if I'm feeling particularly anxious of stepping outside and commuting that day. Carmen Sandiego energy is what I'm pulling up.
Yeah. You can draw energy literally from any fandom or from historical figures too. This isn't limited to fictional characters. It could be real historical figures who you admire. Boadicea is the first one that comes to mind for me. Who's shocked? But there's also people like Amelia Earhart and Ada Lovelace, and Marlene Dietrich is one that I have recently started to truly deeply admire. She was a member of the Sewing Circle with Greta Garbo and many other actresses of that time period who were part of a secret lesbian community in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Their fabulousness and the way that they were true to themselves despite all of the opposition was deeply inspiring. So again, these are figures that we can learn about, we can research and sort of call on and channel that persona and that energy. And keeping in mind too, with historical figures, you have the extra seasoning of this was a real person. This was a real human being with real human being flaws. And look what they accomplished anyway.
You also have the added benefit of being able to work with pilgrimages, spiritual pilgrimages, because these were real historical figures. You can find yourself going to Edgar Allan Poe's gravesite.
Yeah.
As part of your spiritual practice to garner inspiration from his archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could find yourself going to Los Angeles and looking for the star of any particular historical actor or actress to also call up their energy and to make that sacred pilgrimage within yourself. Two examples of how you could also incorporate archetypal energy into your practice, whether it's through calling on that energy in your everyday life or in a working, or if it's something that you're just trying to honor by going on a sacred path and a sacred journey in order to resonate more with that particular archetypal energy.
Absolutely.
All right, I think that's all we have for today on Pop Pantheon archetypes. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast and it has sparked some inspiration for you to dive deeper into your own fandoms or find new ones and start interacting with these characters and these historical figures to incorporate them into your magical practice.
If you enjoy our podcast and would like to interact with more of our content, please visit us at our blog. We also have a storefront on Society 6 where you can purchase magical and enchanted artwork. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope that you have a magical time. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.